He is, of course, one of the top lightweight fighters in the world, and he is finally making his return to action in November at UFC Qatar, taking on Arman Tsarukyan in the main event. It is always my great pleasure to speak to Dan Hooker. Dan, how are you?
Yes, good sir.
Obviously, fight is booked. Before we get to the fight stuff, I got to tell you, because we've been doing interviews for a lot of years, and I remember when we first talked, you didn't have a single tattoo. And now you have, like, the most tattoos. Did you just fall in love with getting tattooed?
Yeah, obviously had a bit of time off, and I would say that fell into it, fell into it. It's gotten a bit out of control, and I'm far from finished. I got a few things I got to finish.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was the chest piece. Was that your first one? The first big one you got was the chest piece.
I just got my back, and then I got well, both my legs are done, and then so I needed both my arms done. Now just need to finish my back and finish my chest.
You fell in love with it pretty quickly.
I did.
Well, Dan, obviously, man, it's good to have you back. Fight is scheduled in November. How kind of give me a sense, like how tough was this last year or so for you? Because you get the big win over Gamrot, you're on a 3-fight win streak. You get the fight booked with Gaethje, which is obviously a huge opportunity, and then the hand injury flares up. You're not able to fight. So, like, kind of give me a sense, like, what has this last like year and a few months been like for you?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously. I just feel like injuries are part and parcel of the sport. Like obviously, you have to account for it as a professional athlete. So it's just part of it, man. You can't get take it. You just gonna have to take it in your stride. And I'm not really one to sit on my hands, so I was stayed busy. Obviously, with that extra time, I had an opportunity to kind of jump into something else I love, and it's getting the 1 minute scraps going. That kind of developed quite naturally. My own little fight event that I run over here in New Zealand, and it's got incredible support. I think, yeah, it's 2.5 months in since I started the page, and we're almost at 500,000 likes. So people are enjoying it. People are enjoying the scraps.
I'm showing my age here, Dan, but I remember years ago, like I got obsessed watching the Kimbo Slice fights on YouTube back in the day. Like I used to go in there all the time to watch him fight in like boat yards and backyards and all that kind of crazy stuff. So, what was the inspiration for 1 minute scraps? Was it just something similar, like just doing something different, like not just starting another MMA promotion or even a bare knuckle promotion, like doing something totally different?
Yeah, it is something totally different. The format's crazy. So we just get 32 fighters signed up, and yeah, so we've in the last three events had $50,000 on the line. So you win 5 1 minute fights and you walk away with $50,000. It's just a battle royale eliminator as you go. But yeah, Kimbo was a huge inspiration. I watched Kimbo before I ever watched an MMA fight. So I think my first kind of inspiration for combat sports was watching the Kimbo Slice backyard fights. So yeah, that obviously had a huge inspiration to my early stages.
I remember, I actually, this is a funny story. Years ago, I was sitting at a UFC event in New Jersey, and Joe Silva, Dana White, and a couple other fighters were sitting around a laptop watching a fight, and we were all sitting in the lobby of a hotel. And it was the fight where Kimbo Slice lost to Sean Gannon, who was a cop from like Boston. And right
Yeah,
after
yeah, yeah.
they signed Sean Gannon to the UFC. It didn't work out too well, unfortunately. But it was kind of funny. Like this cop from Boston was like, I could beat him, and he did beat him. I think he just exhausted him, but he beat him eventually. So I'm curious, like of all the women and scraps guys you've had, has there been one guy that's like been like totally off the wall, impressed you, like you didn't see coming? Because I know these are not like these guys are coming from all different walks of life.
Yeah, oh man, there's heaps of them. Oh yeah, like the big bosses obviously have eyes on. I bumped into Hunter Campbell in the hotel at when I was over there for UFC Perth, and he was like, "Man, I'm watching the 1 minute scraps." He's like, "We need some of those boys. We need some of those boys in our heavyweight division." It's yeah, there's definitely doors will open for these guys, and opportunities will spring up for sure.
I love it. I love it. So now, obviously, you were dealing with a hand injury, and I remember I heard from another interview, like you literally got cleared the day before the UFC announced the fight. But how tough was it? Because I know with a hand injury, like it's hard to do much of anything because like some injuries you can kind of work around, but like with a hand injury, you can't really grapple much. I imagine you can't really punch, obviously, with, unless you're punching one hand. Is like how long did it for you to how long did it take for you to just get back to feeling normal in training game? Because that's such a hampering injury. Like you can't do so much with a broken hand or with an injured hand.
No, you can always the thing about mixed martial arts is you can always work around things. So yeah, I was still in the gym hitting pads and that, just yeah, working on other things. You got two legs, so there was it's been lots of kicking. I'm sick of kicking, so it's good to get back to grabbing and punching.
Now, be honest, Dan. You said you got official clearance, but right before the fight got announced. But how long have you actually been training with the hands? I know fighters don't wait till the doctors tell them to clear. Like I know you've probably been back in training before they actually said you're good to train.
Yeah, oh for sure. Been back for a long time. Been in the gym, getting fit and healthy. So yeah, I'm confident now. Now I'd say everything's like there. I could fight from now. I'm confident there. I feel like the stuff that I want to do in the fight is there. The fitness is there. So I feel like the next 6 weeks will just be refining things and ironing things out.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Dan, like in terms of the matchups, because when you were going to come back, I think it was in April when you were going to fight Justin Gaethje. I mean, that's a monster fight in terms of fan appeal, in terms of like us getting excited, like guaranteed fight of the night, guaranteed exciting fight. You and Justin Gaethje, just like we don't even need to talk about it. We know it's going to be freaking explosive. You go from him to Arman Tsarukyan. Now you could argue this is a better fight because Arman is technically the number one contender. He was supposed to get a title shot. We know the whole story. I think the Gaethje fight is just because it's so explosive. So I assume you were okay going from Gaethje to Arman because I think I heard like there was a chance Gaethje was going to get in this fight. Obviously, you ended up getting it. So were you okay with the difference in opponents in terms of like how excited you are for the fights?
Yeah, oh, this fight definitely gets me up. This fight is the fight that I've been wanting for a long time. So I'm glad that I finally get what I want. Yeah, before the Gagey fight, I was actually eyeing Arman Tsarukyan just because I know that he is the number one contender, and I know that if you get past Arman Tsarukyan, that you'll be walking into a title fight. And we obviously had the boss kind of confirm that and say that this is the number one contender fight. So it's exciting. It cuts yeah, it cuts another fight out of the way. I feel like if I would have fought Gagey or Oliveira, you get your hand raised in that fight. There's still going to be doubters and question marks. So it's good to get a concrete path to a title shot. Is huge.
You'd already signed for the fight, or at least accepted the fight. And I know, as you mentioned, Dana White had come out and said, "Yeah, number one contenders fight." What was your initial reaction? You heard that, obviously happy, but like unexpected, or did you kind of see that coming just based on who you and Armin are in the division?
Yeah, oh, I kind of expected it. That's why I wanted this fight and kind of asked for this fight. Well, pretty much nagged the UFC to give me a shot to take Arman Tsarukyan out of the way. So yeah, it was cool. I like the way that he answered that Dana answered it, like almost pissed off that he was. It's always good when the boss answers things and he's almost like pissed off that someone even asked the question. It was like he answered it like it was obvious that this was going to be the number one contender.
Yeah. Throughout your career, Dan, like you've always been an entertaining guy. You've stepped up when they needed you. I always remember, like I said, even on short notice against Islam a couple years ago, you're like, yeah, I'll take the fight. Like whatever it was, like 12 days notice, something crazy like that. And then after what happened in January with Armin, it almost felt like he pissed off the UFC. Like they were clearly not happy with him. I don't know that I actually believe in my heart of hearts the UFC roots for anybody. Like they're sitting in the back, back in the green room, like, oh man, I really hope this guy wins. But is there some small party that feels like you'd be doing the UFC a favor by beating Armin, by kind of putting him out of the title picture after like that kind of disaster? Because clearly they were pissed off by what happened in January. There's a reason why he didn't get rescheduled for the title, but he hasn't got scheduled for a fight until now.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, for sure. That well, I got the fight by telling the matchmakers by begging them that please let me get rid of this guy. So it's I said please let me smash Arman's face and get him out of the way. And next thing I walked into the fight, so my prayers have been answered.
I know your opinion on Arman is not super high. You know what's crazy is I followed Arman for a long time, and I know you kind of gave him a hard time for, I guess, coming from a life of privilege is kind of the nice way to say it. I wasn't super aware of that. And I did some research. And I was like, oh, his dad is like, nine figure, like hundreds of millions of dollars in like construction. So I had no idea. Honestly, I had no idea he came from that much money. And then I started looking. I was like, oh yeah, I guess it is kind of obvious because people on Instagram they try to show off like they got money on Instagram. Doesn't mean they actually got money. But obviously, like
That's
it does seem like Armin. So, do you feel like? Listen, I know everyone fights for a different reason, but do you feel like that hunger, that desire, your need, like you have a need to go out and win, provide for your family? Do you feel like that does separate you from Armin in a way? We always hear that, like it's harder to wake up and go running when you're sleeping in silk sheets. It's a very old saying in the boxing world, and MMA. But like, do you believe there is a different drive in you than maybe a drive in Armin?
different. Like our original my original kind of problem with him was when he first come into the UFC, and he's kind of just discredited my, like, pretty early on he was chiming at me and discrediting my skill set, discrediting my accomplishments, discrediting, like, saying that, yeah, I'm turning fights, turning, don't want to fight him, and I'm running from him and things like this. So I feel like he's kind of kicked that off or opened that door for me to answer back and kind of stand my ground with it. Um, but yeah, I feel like we just come from different places, you know. Yeah, I feel like he's just like a rich little spoiled kid that and he acts like that, you know, pulling out of a title fight like the day before. And people have seen my career. They've seen me take the knocks. They've seen me pick myself back up. They've seen me just tough it out and come from nothing, like the first New Zealand based fighter to kind of make it to the UFC. And look at it now, like we've been able to grind something out. You know, I feel like yeah, I feel like I'm a fighter for the working man. You know, and kind of represent just hard working and sticking at it and gutting things out and accomplishing what you want through that. And I feel like he's kind of just had everything handed to him and the best training and the best coaches and fly around here and just kind of had the easy road. So it's yeah, it's kind of just the working man versus Richie Rich.
I mean, and obviously, listen, there's nothing wrong with having money, but I know everyone likes to give Conor McGregor hell because he has money and does crazy things. But people have to remember, like Conor did come from, he was a plumber. I think he was, working very, 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 and he earned his way. Obviously, earned a ton of money. It's different. I think it's a different thing, obviously. And I'm not going to fault someone who have rich parents, but I think you know where I'm going. Like it's different with a guy like that. Like Conor kind of was a self-made millionaire, self-made man doing it himself. And like I said, maybe he's gone off the rails now, but he did earn that money himself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Like obviously, yeah, it's like gets to a point where it's just too like he's obviously hyper competitive. I'm hyper competitive as well. And just no one wants to back down. So it's that's why this fight's so exciting because it is two guys on the win streaks that do have some animosity there, and they both have something to prove, and they both think they're gonna win, and that's why it's such an exciting fight. It's because we both have a point to prove.
Yeah, I know you said that, like, Armin's attitude and him saying things like, I'm bringing all my brothers with me, I'm coming. And I know you kind of said, basically, if he approaches me like he approached Bobby Green, there's not going to be a main event, there's not going to be a fight. And I know Dana addressed that too. He's like, oh, we're not worried about it. We have security, we deal with this. But listen, we've had those issues. We always remember the Paddy Pimblett, Ilia Topuria thing a couple years ago. Remember the backstage press conference thing with Hamzat and Kevin Holland on them where they literally canceled the press conference because things got so crazy backstage. So do you actually believe, like in your heart of hearts, Dan, do you believe that like Armin would actually try to start something with you, or do you believe this is all just talk, like trying to hype the fight, trying to get in your head, whatever you want to call it?
Nah, I don't think it's I don't think it's just talk. Like I don't even like to say like I'll in this situation like I'll do this. Like I feel like he is. Yeah, he's just a mouthy little rich prick. You know what I mean? And I'm just not a person that backs down. That's just the situation that we're in. I feel like if yeah, well, we just have to wait and see. We're just gonna have to wait and see till we see each other.
Almost like a bully, right? Like a bully. Like he's just trying to bully you. Like he's got the upper hand and he's gonna see if he can bully you. Like that, and I think that is a real attitude some guys carry.
Yeah, I'm not a person that you can just push around and bully and expect to back down. I'm gonna stand my ground 10 times out of 10.
And in terms of the matchup, Dan, I mean, obviously, we saw in your last fight with Mateusz Gamrot, who is primarily a wrestler. I mean, that is literally what he does best, what he does, and you went out there and beat him. When you look at your history, you fought a lot of grapplers, a lot of wrestlers in your career. Now, I know you took that Islam fight on incredibly short notice, but when you look at the improvements you made in your wrestling and your grappling, like, do you feel like that's one area where you feel like you can really surprise a guy like Arman? Because if he doesn't come out and try to take you down in the first 3 minutes of the fight, I'll be shocked. I guess we could be surprised, but you got to imagine that's his game plan. Like that's literally what he does to everybody.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like I've improved a lot in my wrestling in the last couple of years, especially in this time off. I feel like my mentality has changed a lot, and I feel like, yeah, kind of Charles Oliveira showed it in the Gamrot fight. Like you can't, and it's something that you just have to do. You can't just say like I'm fighting a wrestler, I'm gonna avoid the wrestling. Like Charles Oliveira, he started shooting takedowns. You have to make, you can't avoid anything. Anything you avoid, you're running scared from. So if Arman wants to wrestle, we can wrestle. I'll be there for it 100%. If he wants to grapple, we can grapple. I'm not really concerned with that. I'm gonna go out there and do what I do. Like his whole kind of plan is saying, and it's kind of just riding off the back of the guys from that side of the world and the Khabib stuff, and a lot of guys and everyone that fought him just have, the mystique around it. They avoided the wrestling. Um, the guys that's, Khabib kind of struggled with were the grapplers who grappled him back or grappled him first, and it's something that can't avoid anything. You have to meet it head on. So I'll be happy to wrestle. Like as he says. He's like, oh, I'm gonna wrestle him and make him tired. It's like we can wrestle, but we're both gonna get tired. I'm just very experienced at being tired inside of that cage, so it's not something I shy away from. It's not something that I'm trying to avoid. If he wants to wrestle, we can wrestle, but I guarantee he's gonna get tired first.
Yeah. I would normally ask, like, being out for a little while, like, coming back. I didn't even realize, I know you probably realize this, like, he's been out long, he's been out for 18 months. I didn't realize how long it's been since he fought. Like, he fought at UFC 300 against Charles. He hasn't fought since then. I know he went through the training camp for Islam, but he didn't fight. And fighting is the whole point. You can go through a training camp and it sucks when you deal with an injury and not able to fight. But, like, it's been a long. So like I assume he's going to be in the same shape as ever. And I know you expect him as Arman Tsarukyan, but it has been a long time. It's been almost basically a year and a half by the time he steps in there with you.
Yeah, that's a long time off. Um, yeah, I've been out for a year, so we've probably been out for similar times, and it's just gonna depend on who's been doing what behind the scenes. I've been like timing is everything, and I feel like the timing is come right for me. I feel like I'm in a good place, um, both mentally and physically, and I'm just excited to get back in there and show the improvements that I've made, and yeah.
Absolutely. I know your focus is only on Arman Tsarukyan and beating him in November, but I got to ask because there's been kind of a changing of the guard at lightweight. I mean, a guy you went to war with, Topuria, is retired. Islam is gone. He's now going to welterweight, and you got Ilia Topuria as champion now. Can I ask your opinion on Ilia? What do you make of him? Kind of coming in, kind of so out of nowhere. Well, I won't say out of nowhere. I mean, obviously he's an incredible featherweight, but then to come in and knock out Charles the way he did was super impressive. And now it looks like he's going to fight Paddy. I don't know if that's a done deal, but it sure seems like that's going to going to happen. So, what do you make of Ilia? Now as the champion in the division.
Yeah, incredible streak. Incredible run at featherweight, and then obviously coming up and doing what he did to Charles. He's been on one heck of a streak. But yeah, anyone wearing that belt the contenders in the division have their eyes on and are hunting down and chasing. So yeah, the future looks exciting. I feel like I match up well stylistically with Ilia. I feel like that's a good fight. That's an exciting fight. That's a fight. Yeah, that's obviously the fight that I want. After this fight, it looks like the UFC is going to do Holloway and Oliveira for that'll probably end up being for the BMF title, and then the undisputed title will be, the kind of doors wide open for that. There's a lot of movement in the lightweight division at the moment, so it's exciting. It's a very exciting time to get the number one contender spot next to your name.
And I know like you're fighting basically towards the end of November, and I know the rumor has been maybe Ilia fighting in January. If they do end up doing the Ilia and Paddy fight, I would assume you'd get the winner. Do you give Paddy a chance to beat Ilia? I mean, everyone's got a chance, but like, do you give him a good chance to beat Ilia? Because I think a lot of people are like, man, exciting fight, fun fight, but I don't give Paddy a great chance. Do you think there's a world where Paddy goes out there and dethrones Ilia, where you're fighting Paddy for the title?
Nah. Long and short of it, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, Ilya. I mean, Ilya's, and I remember like when guys like Islam were champion, or back in the day, guys like Anderson Silva, like you want to beat the guy, and everyone kind of has anointed Ilya as the guy, right? Like you want to be the one to dethrone him. Not no offense to Paddy, but like you want to be the one to go out there, and Ilya hasn't tasted defeat ever, so I mean, like that would make it even more special, right?
Oh, yeah, that's obviously sweet to put an O next to someone's name and to stop just the incredible run that he's on. Like everyone can't be beat until but you get experienced enough in this game. I'm long enough in the tooth to know that that's all just mystique and hype and the promotional side of things. I know that everyone bleeds, everyone gets tired, and that on any one night any man can win.
Yeah, I mean you're going to be taller and longer than most of your opponents, but that face off with Ilya would be pretty good. I got to be honest, because you're gonna have a massive size advantage over him.
Yeah, it's a fight that I like. I feel like I have more tools on the feet and more versatile. But yeah, you gotta just take out one fight at a time. Obviously, you have a huge test in front of me. And Arman Tsarukyan, I feel like he is the best in the division. I feel like it is the hardest fight. That's why I want this fight. But yeah, my focus is definitely on Arman at the moment.
Would you put in terms like just in terms of tough style matchups? Would you put Arman ahead of Ilya in that way? I think there's kind of like that mystique around Arman because of his grappling, because of his wrestling, that he is a guy that a lot of people don't want to fight. A lot of people don't want that matchup.
He's good at winning fights. Yeah, I feel like he is. He is a real skillful fighter. He is a Yeah, he is a good fighter, but like the bigger the mystique around a guy, the bigger the hype around a guy, the more exciting a test it is for me because it's like everything, every little victory that you do have in the fight, you begin to show you begin to show everyone how human they are. So it's like every you win any little scramble, you defend a takedown, you get up from a takedown, you land a punch. It's kind of that mystique starts fading away, and everyone else starts seeing it for what it really is.
Yeah. Now, real quick before I get you out of here, Dan, traveling from New Zealand, you're pretty much used to spending 20, 30 hours on a plane to get to your fights. Is the time difference that much different in Qatar? Like, I know a lot of guys are like, oh man, I don't want to travel for fights, but I imagine that's a shorter flight for you, right? Than going like all the way to like Las Vegas. Am I thinking that's it's probably closer, right?
Further away, but it's just a direct flight. So we take two flights to get to Las Vegas, but to get to Qatar, it's one flight, but it's the longest. It's the longest. I believe it's the longest single flight in the world that you can do. I think it's over 17 hours direct. So it is a direct flight, but just directly the longest flight in the world.
Are you planning on going over early, or have you kind of mapped that out yet? I mean, obviously at this point we're basically, as you said, like 6 weeks away from the fight. Have you mapped out like how early you plan on going over there?
Yeah, I'll get out there with more than enough time. I'll get out there like 7 days out from the fight, that gives me more than enough time. Well, our team is very experienced at traveling and adjusting to different times. It's something that we have had to do our entire careers. So it's something that's in the back of my head more than like a forefront, like a huge, it's not like a huge deal to me.
Yeah, hey, I was gonna say you guys from City Kickboxing, like not traveling is probably weirder than traveling at this point, right? Like it'd be weird to actually not
Yeah,
have traveled very far.
definitely, definitely.
Well, Dan, I'm glad this fight got booked. I think this is an amazing fight. I think it's amazing to have you back. Obviously, sport is a better place with you, and I'm glad you're back and healthy. And man, I cannot wait. This is one of my favorite fights left in the year, and they're getting a good card too. Obviously, you got Bilal and Ian Gary. Like this Qatar, not that you care, but like the rest of the card's good. Like this looks like it's gonna be a good card.
Yeah, oh, it definitely does. Like the bigger the steam around an event, the more exciting, the more people paying attention and the eyeballs on it. So, yeah, it seems like it's going to be a huge card, and there'll be a lot of fans excited. So I'm excited to get over and put on a good show.
Absolutely, man. Well, obviously, have a great training camp, man. Safe travels over to Qatar. Keep up the good stuff with the 1 minute scraps. I enjoy. I admit it, man. I got addicted to watching. I watched like one fight, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I was like, well, "What's the next fight?" And then let me watch the next fight. And I was like, "This is actually it's really fun." So keep up the great work with that, man. And obviously, have a great training camp. And can't wait to see you back in action November 22nd.
Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it.